Hi and welcome to Budget Model Railways, and today we're going to do a review of this little loco. This is the Hornby 060 locomotive, SECR, which I believe is South Eastern Chatham Railway, R339 in the Hornby Railroad range, which is why I'm reviewing it. So this is an interesting little loco. This is actually, somebody will correct me, but I believe it was Percy, which they've then put a normal smoke box door on and a normal, if you like, sensible colour scheme. So I'm going to show you the running qualities and so on in a minute, because I was a bit surprised, not this loco, but I've seen some reviews, unboxing videos, caught for an ad to take a thing out of a box. Not quite sure what that's all about. What we want to know is, what does it look like? How does it run? So first off, let's talk about price on this. I got mine from Empire Warehouse. Well worth a look. This is the third Hornby Railroad loco I've got. They are the cheapest price for. So it might not be a name you're familiar with. So Empire Warehouse. Mine came via eBay, but they do have their own website. Shop around. The thing with all these railroad locos is you need to shop around, because everybody from time to time will have an offer on these. This was discounted almost before it came out. Having said that, it went up a lot from announcement to final release because of all the reasons we know. Now, Hornby's current price is 68. I picked this up for 58. I suspect a bit of shopping around in a few months' time might get it down to about 55. Now, in the current scheme of things, that's not a great deal of money for a little loco compared to what other locos are. And this is one step up from the usual 040s. So if you've just started in model railways, you want something a bit better on your layout, this is not a bad little step at £58. And that price, incidentally, is including postage. So, colour scheme, obviously I'd rather it had been BR black or something like that. But in reality, I don't worry about colour schemes. I don't imagine anybody else does that's just starting in the hobby. And it's actually quite a smart colour scheme. You've got lining there, you've got text, you've got gold boiler and so on. So it's quite a nice looking little loco. So let's show you how it runs. So the first thing to say, a little bit of a surprise, is it runs quite happily around my first radius track. And not all 060s do that. Some of the other ones won't go round. So I don't know what they've done, whether this is perhaps because it's an older chassis, but it runs round quite happily. What I'll also show you, I'll just whiz it round the back. I'll get it into shot. But it'll run fairly slowly and it'll start again. So it's not a bad little runner like that. So what we'll show you now, this is it pulling 20 wagons. So that's not a bad little load. Oh, set my something's good. There we go. So you can count them off if you like. But there's 20 wagons there it's pulling. Second and third radius turns. And a similar number of, equal weight of coaches. But 20 wagons is not bad. It's a great deal more than an 040 would pull. So that does make it a more useful loco if you've just started in your railways than getting an 040. And it's pulling those quite happily. Even there you see a more or less sensible speed. And it was pulling 12 wagons around my first radius. So that's quite a significant improvement over the 040s. There we go. And what I want to do is just give you a little bit of a close-up of some of the detail. But you can see, quite nicely lined. Got a little number on the back there. So I think that's quite nicely finished. And then what we'll just show you now is it running over points. Now usually what I find is as soon as I try and film a loco running off points, it stalls. But let's see what this one does. So that's running over a succession of points. And bear in mind, this loco's not been running. So I would be able to run that a little bit slower than that. But my suspicion is that, as that's not too bad at the moment, that once that's running, that will run over those points quite happily at slightly slower speed, which would make it an okay shunting loco as well. It's certainly not stalling like some of the 040s do occasionally. There we go. Now I would point out, those are pico points. And they're very well cleaned pico points. I am not suggesting that that's going to run quite so well over a Hornby point. Give you a better shot of it there. So what do I think? I think it's a good loco for the money. I think at around £58, given current prices, given that 040s, you can get them now for around the 45. That's quite a good price for what does give you a little bit more capability. If you were just starting in the hobby, that wouldn't in fact be a bad little second loco at that price. I'd like to see it in some other colour schemes. I'd like to see it done in a BR black or BR green. I don't care if that's accurate or not. It doesn't usually matter on the railroad locos when you think of the 040s. But as it is, it's still a very smart little loco. The pre-production photos didn't do it any favours. They made it look as if it was going to be unpainted plastic. But actually, it's quite a good looking loco. It's running okay over points. It'll run on a first radius curve. It'll pull 20 wagons. It'll pull 12 wagons around a first radius curve. So let's be honest, that's a useful little loco for £58. So I would say well done, Hornby. I have got, I think it's R30039 due, which is the little 040. And when that comes in, it should have been here. Jedland Racing posted it off as soon as it came in. Of course, it's sat in the postal strike. When that comes in, I'll do a review of that. But obviously, I did the review of the blue one recently. Both good little locos. So well done, Hornby. Nice little loco. I would just say one thing, and you can make of it what you like. This is the Pico Bobo diesel, the German one. All-wheel drive, all-wheel pickup, very well detailed, directional lights. Current retail price, £58. Make of that what you will, but it's an interesting point when people are talking about pricing of locos. But as it goes for a 00, nice little addition. If you've just started and you want something a bit bigger, I think this is a really good loco. It will do quite a lot more than an 040 for not a lot more money. I'd like to see Hornby, please, because I know some people at Hornby watch this. Hi to those of you that do. That a couple of these different colour schemes would be really nice to see in the range. But there you go, an interesting looking loco. Nice little addition to your fleet.